Okay, so hello to all our audience of Milestone Radio Show on Oxygène Radio. We have the huge pleasure to be with two members from UK Thrash band XENTRIX playing at the Hellfest at the second day. So hello to you. Can you first introduce to our audience?
Hi, I'm Jay. I do vocals and guitars at the moment.
Hi, I'm Christian. I'm the guitar player.
Okay, cool. So you just played a few minutes ago. So it is the first time for you at the Hellfest?
Yeah. This is the first time XENTRIX have been at Hellfest, and first time XENTRIX have been in France for many years, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we played in. What was it? Yeah. That was probably about 6 years ago. But that was our first time in France, I think. So it's great. It's great to come over here and play something this size, because this is like colossal. It's like monumental. I'm still in awe of just the setup of everything. It's, if you've never been here, you've got to come. Basically, it's amazing.
You play many festivals with the band, but you never see such an architecture, all that.
No, I mean we tend not to. We tend to get on the smaller festivals and occasionally get on the bigger ones. Just maybe on the certain tents and things like that. But this I think this is the biggest one we've done. It's just colossal.
Biggest site. This is the biggest site we've played on for sure. Yeah.
So XENTRIX reformed in 2013. Yeah, that's right. What led you to put the band together again?
Me again, yeah, sorry. Basically, we were bored. No, midlife crisis, what can I say? We stopped the band because the whole thrash thing had come to an end. People were into grunge and it had stopped after in the 90s. Nobody was interested in the band. And we just thought, well, that's it, we've had our run. And then, the internet started. And people started saying things like, "Yeah, you should get the band back together. You could play these festivals. You could do this. You could go to this country." We were like, "Really? You sure?" And so we, our old singer Chris, he called me up and said, "We should do it. We'll get on these." And lo and behold, we got dates with various bands and started doing it. And the rest is history. We then went on to record a new album, and various people come and go. But this is where we're at now, and we're loving it. Because at the end of the day, we're just big fans of this music. You have to be. You have to be a fan of the music. You don't do it for the money.
Doing it. To still be doing it, yeah.
Okay, so from the original lineup, you are two from you and the drummer.
Yeah.
How did you meet Jay and the bass player?
So the bass player I'd known. He's kind of local to us. And when our old original bass player couldn't play anymore, he had some medical issues, and he was like, "I'm stepping down." So we asked Chris Shires to step in, and he slotted in fine because we knew him, even though he was only 4 when our first album came out. Yeah, but and then when the original singer Chris said, "I don't want to do it anymore," we were like, "Do we carry on? Do we still?" Because trying to replace a singer is the hardest thing in any band. And we had the added bonus of we had a singer who played guitar, so it was like it's even more difficult. And we spent a couple of years trying to find people, but I'd met Jay through various things, and I met him at Bloodstock Festival, and he just said, "Do you want to play guitar? Do you want to play guitar for XENTRIX?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And after years of trying to find somebody to sing as well, I just said, I was like tearing my hair out, and I just said, "Look, you can't do it, can you?" And he went, "I'll have a go." And then we were like, right, there we go, we're sorted.
Yeah, we'd been looking for about 18 months, wasn't it? Yeah. Trying different people out, and it was like, this isn't going to get moving unless we can find someone. And in the end, I was just like, I think I'm going to have to do this, otherwise we're just going to be stuck not doing anything for more time. So I learned a couple of the tracks, unlocked that, playing and singing again, got it unlocked again, and went up, rehearsed 2 tracks, and it was just like, yeah, I think this will work. So it's like try and nail the rest of it and get going.
Yeah, we already actually had our last album, Bury the Pain. We'd already finished it with the old singer, and then when he decided he didn't want to do it anymore, we were like, well, there's no point putting that out. So we went and re-recorded it with him, and that was what. But the album is was a lot older than it actually seems, because we finished it, like, we had 2 years off, and then, you know, so this is what happens, unfortunately.
So you were talking about your latest album, Bury the Pain, so it was released 3 years ago now, and yeah, the time is passing. How did you consider this album with the insight in your whole discography?
For me, as a XENTRIX fan when I was learning to play guitar, I'm not that much younger than them now, but for me it sits somewhere between Kin and For Whose Advantage, for the style of it. And yeah, so and I was just finding my feet on vocals on it. So that's where what it sounds like to me. It sounds like a cross between Kin and For Whose Advantage.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's the album that we should have written instead of Kin. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go and join up. You know, hindsight's easy. It's easy to look back and go, oh, we shouldn't have done that song. We shouldn't have tried this. We shouldn't have tried that. We should have stayed true to our roots. And that's what we tried to do. We tried to sort of rectify those issues, really. And that, to me, is what Bury the Pain is. It's the album that we should have done after For Whose Advantage. And we've actually just, well, I'll leave that there, but we've actually just finished the new one now, so I'll let you ask about that.
Yeah, the new one's finished, mixed and mastered, artwork's just finished. We've got to do a photo shoot in the next couple of weeks just to get some photos for it, some up-to-date ones. And yeah, I would imagine it should be out by the end of the year. If it's not, I'll be disappointed. It's called 7 Words. And that still sounds like XENTRIX. Yeah.
Yes, this album, Bury the Pain, is kicking ass. Yes, like it, buy it. So, yeah, it was released 3 years ago. Can we expect something new album in a few month?
Well, yeah, in a few months. It's all done. It's all finished. We did it again with Andy Sneap. In between him playing in Judas Priest and not playing in Judas Priest, then back in Judas Priest. Yeah, he's a good friend. I've known him from we did our first tour in 1989 with his band Sabbath. So we became friends then, and we kind of like, he sends me offensive texts all the time. In fact, he sent me one before, and he's a great guy, and it's like, if he's got the time, he'll help us out. You know what I mean? He'll yeah, okay, because he's doing like big bands like Dream Theater and stuff, and he'll sort of like, yeah, I'll do this XENTRIX for you.
So, gonna wait a little bit for the release of this new album this year or next year, maybe. So check the social networks. You've been together, musician for a long time now. What was the first piece of music that moved you?
Whatever. Maiden, Live After Death, anything from that. When I saw that, I was just like, right, this is what I want to be listening to. This is what I should be listening to. And from there, very quickly sped up into Megadeth, On Peace Selves, So Far So Good So What, Metallica with the usual stuff. And then XENTRIX came out from UK. So I was like, okay, we've got our own boys here now. Slammer, Reanimator, and Sabbath. Yeah, through that sort of stuff. Yeah, Slayer, Machine Head, then Machine Head, Sepultura, that way. Yeah.
Mine was the Star Wars soundtrack. So when I was 7, I was like massive Star Wars kid. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, so that was actually my first vinyl that I used to play all the time, just listening to that music. But rock music, first album I ever bought was Back in Black. And I still listen to that today, and it just sounds amazing. It's just like, and then getting into sort of harder stuff, went through, the Rainbow, the Iron Maiden, and then Motorhead. Like No Six Hammersmith, I can play that after and after. I turn it over, put it on again, turn it over, put it on again. I love that record. And then progress from that onto the sort of the thrash stuff, onto the Metallica, onto the Anthrax, the Slayer, the usual sort of suspects. But my favourite thrash metal album is actually the first Forbidden album. I love that. I love that record. It's a great album. That to me is like, it just captures the sound, and it's really, it's really rough actually. It's quite a rough sounding record, but it sounds so live. because the guy that did our first record actually had just done that record, and he came from San Francisco and did Shattered Existence with us. And when we did our first record, he was like, we were expecting to, we didn't know much about recording. And we were like, well, we're going to have to do it all separately. We'll do the drums first, then we'll do the bass. And he was like, what are you doing? No, you're going to go in a room, you're going to play like you do live. We were like, oh, really? Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, and I was like, that's what you do, John Cunnibert, he's a great guy. And, I mean, we actually did that on Bury the Pain. There's one song, the last song, where we actually went, because it was the only song we wrote with Jay. And we went into a studio and did it all live like that. Just try and sort of capture that kind of live, live feel,
Looking back at your childhood, we're gonna going. In which musical environment did you grow up?
It was the 80s, and well, like I said, as soon as I was into Queen and Dire Straits in our house, that was playing. And then there's the friend at school was like, you need to listen to this. Derek Riggs' artwork caught my eye, and I was just like, what's that? And it's just like, mate was like, this is Iron Maiden, you need to go and listen to this. So that, yeah. And then, like I said before, boom, 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 boom. Yeah,
My household wasn't actually very musical at all. My father wasn't into music. My mother was a little bit, but not really. So I don't think we had a record player for years. My dad was into cars, so it was like he'd have like a really flash. I remember him having a really good BMW 635 CSI Alpina, and it had this amazing stereo in it, and he never used it. And I was like, Dad, put this on. He was like, I'm not listening to music. He was never bothered. So I kind of found my own sort of way with rock and metal. You know what I mean? And it was kind of just people who I lived in a little rural area in northwest of England, and it was just like two people on the street who got me into listen to this, and a guy at school who gave me the first High Voltage AC/DC album. It was like, listen to this, and that's how it just progressed into that. You know what I mean? That was my childhood.
Okay, thanks.
My childhood. What am I on about? My mum thinks it's a phase. She's like, you'll grow out of it. 52.
52. Okay. Oh, cool. Thank you. So, you played the Hellfest. What are your plans after this festival? Did you have other summer festivals planned?
We've got to do the photo shoot for the album. The album will be out. We've got to get that moving. Well, it's done. It's been released on Listenable Records, which is a French label. Laurent will be, he's waiting on the photos, and then that's going to be out and about. The promotion will start with that. Then that takes us through July into August. That one's gone. We had one in August that's gone. So that might be rescheduled to later in the year. I can't say where that is. And then we've got 2 UK ones in November is the next stuff we're doing.
It's going to be like the end of the year, really, before we start, probably. But we've been announced we're playing with Violence, Artillery and Whiplash on this MTV Headbangers Ball round Europe. So there's 2 weeks round there. So hopefully we should have the album out for October. I mean, this year for us, it's kind of like the COVID thing. So we were on this 2 years ago or whatever. So we're just kind of mopping up that stuff that was left over,
So, thank you very much for your time to do the interview. It was a pleasure. I am a fan of XENTRIX since the first album. So, I see you live. I was in the pit, take photos. So, I was wherever near you to be. Thank you very much. Wish you a lot of good things for the future, for you, for your family. And thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.